All right, well, welcome back, everybody. So I don't know if you can actually have a favorite Led Zeppelin song, but man, this one might be it for me. It's got everything I love from this band, just the heavy, the dark, mysterious harmonies, rock, just, it's got it all. My goodness. So we're gonna go through Misty Mountain Hop today, of course, from the great Led Zeppelin, of course, off of Led Zeppelin IV. And we're gonna take this one apart. There's actually not that many parts to it in terms of the rhythm guitar. It's more about the sound that he got, but we'll go through the chords and we'll break down all those amazing sort of harmonies that you hear in the solo. So that's where we're probably gonna spend most of our time here, by the way. Okay, well, if you like this kind of thing and you haven't done so already, jump down right now and click subscribe and ring the bell. The bell lets you know when I drop new content, which I do every single week. All my videos have chapters in them, so you can jump right to the part of the lesson that you want to see and bypass what you don't. And if you're looking for other ways to support the channel, I appreciate that. There's thanks, which is like throwing a tip in the tip jar, a button below. Or you can join my Patreon page where I've got chord charts and tabs for all the songs that I do on YouTube, like this one. All the links are in the description, so check it out. All right, so Misty Mountain Hop. Great. So this is just, like I said, such a tough sound. Legend has it that Jimmy ran his guitar, or like most of the tone that you're hearing, at least on the rhythm guitar, is him running direct into the board and overdriving it directly that way, because it's not sort of like an amp sound. This one and Black Dog, you know, it's really tough to get the sound that you hear on the record. Those two, I think, he went right into the board, supposedly. Cue everybody screaming me in the comments, no! But that's what I think. I think it's true. So I don't have that. So I'm gonna give you what I've got in my signal chain in here to get sort of close. Okay, so in terms of pedals, everything's gonna be in the description below. But I'm stacking some things together. I've got a blues driver, I've got a fuzz, a little bit of boost from my EP boost, and a touch of reverb. And I'm running into a 1967 Vox Cambridge Reverb. This is a solid state, it's not all tube, but I love this amp. Oh my gosh, and you can find them, they're pretty cheap because they're not, you know, for the tone snobs out there, the cork sniffers, no, it's not an all-tube Cambridge Reverb. This thing is awesome, I'm sorry, and I got it for about 500 bucks, and y'all can suck it. But here's my tone. All right. So that's what we're gonna go with today. It's a little noisy too. There's some buzz to it. So the riff, the opening riff. So the whole thing is built around this progression of A, G to E. But it's not full chords. It's not that, right? And obviously the song opens with the great Rhodes or Wurlitzer or whatever John Paul Jones is playing. But in terms of guitar, what I think really nails this tone is when you concentrate on just either single string or root fifth. So I'm gonna go, so on the A, I might be hitting the A, the fifth and the fourth string, or I might just be hitting the A. I'll alternate between the two. The G on the sixth string, it's a little bit of a wiggle there, but it's not a big chord, it's just the note at the third fret. And then open E string, right? Now what I think really makes this, and I've listened to a bunch of old live stuff, Jimmy, and I can kind of hear it on the record after I listen to it live, he's doing an awful lot of this when he gets to that E note. He's not playing it down here. It's not, you know, it's not that, he's sliding into it. But you can kind of get it down there, but I think I hear him live sliding all the way up, so it's, and maybe sometimes you do it down here. But that's the vibe of that part of the riff that really nails it. If you just find yourself doing, it's just not sounding fat. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. And all right, so the main riff during the verse sections. So this is all built off of an A dominant 7. You know, because it pedals on A. Walking in the park. So it's going to alternate between 3 sort of positions here. It's going to open up with that. Right, so you're starting on the actual A dominant 7 riff, open A string. You're going to move to a D shape, again keeping it over your A, open A. And then you're going to do your 7th, your dominant 7 shape, but it's over like a G sharp or A flat, whatever. And you just bring it up. But the whole sequence starts on the 5th fret, the A. Then do your rip. Right? So that's that whole thing. So that's going to repeat until you get to a big fat D chord and a G. You sort of pick that on the G. I hear that going on. Back to your riff. Go back again, right? So that's the first couple rounds, right? And then it goes, before you get to the guitar solo, it changes from landing on that A to an E, right? So it goes. Second time. Right before it goes into the solo, right? You hit your E. The big 5th to take you into the root again, right? You could play probably any version of an E, but I think he just hits a couple strings, and I do an E power chord, but I really only hit the first, 6, 5, and 4. All right. That's really it for the rhythm chords, with the exception of the outro. The only other thing that he sort of does on the outro, he does he plays around with that sort of form on the very outro. But that's it for the rhythm. So let's go to the solo work. Oh my gosh, this is so epic. Okay, so how he's constructing these, so obviously there's harmonies going on. It starts out with a 2-part harmony, and then it introduces a 3rd harmony. And then after that whole section is done, there's this squirrely little double-tracked thing that happens at the end. That whole thing, which we'll get to. But we're going to start off with the 2-part harmony, okay? So the 2-part harmony is, again, it's based around the chord shapes that are happening, which is, in the beginning, it's the A to G to E. Those are the chords happening. And he's basically playing parts of the chords or the triads, but he's playing them on single string and overdubbing them, right? So the first, I'll call it guitar 1, harmony guitar 1 is going to go like this. For the first part, all right? And the reason that works is because if you think of an A chord, you're playing the G string, the 3rd string of the A. And then the 3rd G string of the G chord. And you're settling on the E. you sort of do one of those. It's either or both, but. Right? Then it goes, then the next part he does is. Okay, then we're going to go to our next part, which is the D to G. Okay, and we're going to build harmony off of that. So this guitar number 1 is going to take this part of the harmony. And does it again. Okay, I'll tell you why in a minute, why he's constructing it, or why that is the part that it is. Okay, so guitar number 2 is going to take the higher harmony of the two. And if you remember, right, the first chord is an A, and we were playing that third string of the A. Right? So the next one is going to be taking the next higher note in the harmony of the chord. So here's your A. That's your next one. And those are the notes. We're not going to play them there, but those are the notes. I just wanted to show you why those are the way they are. So that's the kind of feel that we're going for. But where he plays it is up here. And so that's the first part. The second part that he plays when he goes higher, because remember the guitar number 1 then changed from, and then he started doing, right? So our climb on guitar number 2 is going to move from up to here. You know, and it's hard to tell if he's bending or if he's sliding up. Might be doing a little of both. I think I normally slide, but that's the note, okay? Okay, and that takes us to where it goes to the D to the G. And we're gonna play this for guitar number 2. And again. Now when you think about these parts, they're just building harmonized chords is all that's happening. So on this second guitar, we ended on going into the A root. Guitar number 1 was playing during that, so you get, right, guitar number 1 was, which is the same as, so we've got 2 notes, right, building our A chord, which we're landing on. Now you put those 2 together and it sounds like this. Okay, the magic in all of this is the third harmony that comes in during the D to G sequence. It's the hardest to try and pick apart, but I think I got it. And I think it's, if you follow the philosophy of what's happening, he's building chord triads. He's building a guitar solo, and he's making them totally out of, I think, totally out of chord triads. So there's no note that's playing the same note at the same time. They're all sort of perfect harmonies with each other. No one's occupying the same octave, you know, or the same note at a different octave, right? So guitar number 3 is playing all the sort of in-between notes that the other 2 harmonies weren't doing when you think of triads, okay? So it's gonna go like this. Now think about that note. Remember, we're sliding from a G to an A. So what we're missing, we've got the root, we've got the 5th, but we don't have the major 3rd, and that's what this does, but it does it low. Right? That's what it's making at the end there. I just love it. All right, so that number 3rd part again. And one or both the times, I think he might actually slide up instead of doing the bend. There. But what those notes are doing in each spot is it's completing the triad of any given moment throughout that solo. If you were to lay all those 3 together, I think you'll find that those are all triads of, you know, D, C, G, all that's happening in here. But you put them all together and it sounds like this. Just epic, right? It's just amazing. Okay, and the last little bit in terms of lead is this funny little thing that he does. And I tried to recreate it, and the only thing I could get it, and you heard it in the beginning of the demo, so you can tell me if you think I got it close or not, but I double tracked it, and I played it a little bit differently between the 2, and I put slap back a little bit on one of the 2. So I'm just trying to mess up one of them in relation to the other. But I'll go through the 2 parts. So one of the parts I think I hear is, if you simplify it, it's this. Right? That's sort of the movement that's happening that I'm hearing. Pretty straight. The very first time, it's like na 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 na, and then it switches to na 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 na. But the first one is like na 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 na. Is what I'm hearing. So I do that on one of them. The second one, I hear him also doing sort of a weird wiggle, not exactly that. And for that one, I was in the same position. You know, if you were to sort of exaggerate it. There's a bend going on there, and it's not happening the same way on both. So that's how I'm trying to get it. Right? And either one or the other, if you just listen to one way on both of those, neither of them are right. But when you put them together, it does. It sounds closer to it, like this. All right, well, that's Misty Mountain Hop by the great Led Zeppelin, and I hope you learned something new today. If you like this, click subscribe and ring the bell. The bell will let you know when I drop new content, which I do every single week. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this, and if there's another song you want me to take on and do, let me know what that is too. But until next week, take care, everybody.